Welcome, golf fans, Masters fans. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. I hope all your golfers made the cut. Mine did not. We had quite an ending to the round here. Might as well start off talking about McIlroy. It was absolutely amazing. I'm just going to flip over. We'll look at his scorecard here. It is definitely something. Give me a second and we'll get that loaded up. A few more people popping in. And we will get going. We're just waiting on Dane here. He shouldn't be too much longer. And we will get started there. How's everyone's lineups looking so far? I've also got a poll I'm going to put up and we'll see what's going on. We got these new widgets on here, so I thought we'd ask this question. Who is the best chance to give Rory a run for the green jacket? Because he's got a gigantic lead here. I believe it's the biggest lead in 30 years. And it's, I think the odds are in his favor to win so far. Let's see how Saturday goes, but he's played, I was just reading here, he's played 246 major championship rounds in his career. He had 9 birdies today, and that is the most ever in any major championship round for Rory. That is incredible out of 246 rounds. So he put on a heck of a show today. Also, another thing I read, 54 professionals made the cut at the Masters tournament. 16-stroke difference between the leader and the cut line ties the second most in Masters history. 19 strokes was the one that's the most, and that was back in 1976. So yeah, you could say it's been a while. All right, so let's go over to Rory here. We'll look at his scorecard. Started out with 3 birdies on 2, 3, and 4 today. He bogeyed number 5. Couple of 4 pars in a row, then another bogey, and it was looking like he was maybe going to fall back to the field. He ended up tied for the lead with Reed for a little bit, and then he went out and he birdied 12 and 13, parred 14, and then finished her off with 4 straight birdies. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, Min Woo, that was really something. That I don't even know. We're going to go look at his scorecard here as well, because it wasn't great, to say the least. Pop it up here. And Minwoo Lee, miscut. Yeah, no doubt, 78, 77. So round 1, first of all, I'm sure Dane talked about him last night because we were talking about him. Was ugly with 1 birdie on the 12 in round 1. He came out in round 2 and looked worse, I could say. He birdied another par 3, birdied 6 today, but then he 12, 13, 14, 15 was double, and then 3 bogeys in a row. Just absolutely destroyed him. Speaking of blowing up, let's look at the leaderboard here. I got one for you if you weren't watching. This one hurt me the most. I had Akshay today, and look how good it started. Things were looking amazing with 3 birdies on the front 9, and he must have ate too many hot dogs at the turn. Came out and had a double, bogey, then a double, and then a bogey, and he actually birdied 17. Things were looking good. Looked like we may be going to see some action. All he needed to do was par 18. He's making the cut on the weekend. So I was still kind of optimistic that he was going to make it there. And lo and behold, he goes and doubles and misses the cut by 2. Absolutely incredible there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the cheat sheet leaderboard here. I'm going to hide the poll, which we should be able to still find it in chat. I'll bring it up again later. Get someone there. So we're going to look at some strokes gained leaders. There's only 2 golfers in the field. Rory, obviously. Patrick Reed was the other, who shot under 70 in both rounds. And only, geez, I was reading, I lost that tweet I had up. Does anyone else have that available? How many times? I think it was only, well, no times ever. That's what it was. Has someone shot in the 60s in all 4 rounds. So really, we're only down to 2 guys left. So it's a little bit interesting there. And then the other story I had up, I wanted to ask Dane about, but I'm going to ask you guys. See the Brooks Koepka thing on Thursday. He missed 6 of his first 7 fairways with the driver in round 1, finishing the round hitting just 7 of 14. Yeah, so he goes out to the driving range last night, and he sees that his driver is set from A1 to B1. Changes that back, and he found 9 fairways and fired 69 today. I don't understand. you have your driver set wrong going into the biggest tournament of the year. But yeah, that happened. But yeah, he rebounded a little bit. Me and Dane were both off of him, so he's sitting at 3 under here and sitting just outside the top 10. So in terms of bets for the weekend, I mean, outright's going to be a pretty tough one. Rory right now on DraftKings, pop over there. He's at minus 250. I don't think we can bet that at all. That just seems a little bit too high. These other guys, I think it's too far back for them to come. This isn't a course where we're going to just all of a sudden make up 6 strokes, even across 2 days, when Rory's playing as well as he is. Like Rory right now, tee to green, is gaining 5.44 strokes on the field, which is first by over a stroke over Wyndham Clark, who's sitting second in tee to green. And then you look at the around the green, Rory's gaining 2.2 strokes. That is zero point 0.8 strokes more than Sergio Garcia and Corey Connors. He's gaining 2.3 putting, which is awesome to see for him, which puts him in 6th overall in terms of the strokes gained putting. So he's just been too good. I don't think anyone is going to win. I think this is Rory's tournament to lose, obviously. So I think from a betting perspective, we're maybe looking for some top fives, some deeper top tens, guys that are sitting maybe outside the top 10 that give us a little bit of value there that we're going to look at. And I'm going to ask Dane about that here shortly as well once he pops on. But yeah, let's look at some of these other stats who maybe can stand out in terms of showdown going into the next round. So we'll go back to the cheat sheet here, and we're going to look at strokes gained, tee to green. Look at some prices here on these guys. Wyndham Clark only 7,000 for round 3. That makes a lot of sense. He's second in strokes gained, tee to green. He's losing 0.6 strokes putting, but I don't think that's going to be much of a problem for him going into the weekend. He is, where are we in terms of putting? So yeah, putting's been his issue this year. So, but the fact that he's hitting tee to green, he's only 7K. He has one good round. He's going to pop and probably be in that 5-2, 5-6 birdies range. It's going to be a little hotter tomorrow, and absolutely no winds. We maybe see, it's debatable whether we're going to see lower scores or we're going to see the course get really, really firm and become much tougher. We're just going to have to wait on seeing that. But yeah, for tomorrow's weather here, we are looking at 64 by 9 a.m. We're up into the 80s in the afternoon and absolutely no wind. So it's going to be a gorgeous round 3 at Augusta. Sunday, we're going to get some wind, which could make things interesting, hopefully down the stretch, maybe for one and dones and that sort of thing for people. I don't know if going after the green jacket's going to make much of a thing, because Rory could potentially be up by more than 6 strokes by that time if he keeps playing the way he. I don't personally think anyone's coming back, but if I was looking at guys that have a chance now, looking at the round 3 showdown, Tyrrell Hatton makes a lot of sense. He did something incredible today as well. What does it talk about? Oh, Hatton. He hit all 18 greens in regulation for a 66 today. Only Jim Furyk and, get this, Kevin Na are the only players to ever achieve that feat in the last 30 years at the Masters. So pretty incredible there from Hatton to be able to hit all those greens. He's been a little bit, he two birdies in the first round, 7 in the second. 7,800. I think we can still go back to him. He was only 6. Whoever used him today at 6.4% ownership in Showdown was definitely sitting pretty at the end of the day. Even Rory was only 16.9 with his 65. So that was definitely your tournament winning core, was that 17% and only 6.4. Your top to ownership guys in round 2, Jacob Bridgman, Auberg, Schauffele, and Scheffler were all over 20%, and only one of them shot under par, and that was Auberg. He ended up with 5 birdies. He's been pretty consistent over the few days. 3.9, crushing it, ball striking. The approach especially has been really good, but the putting and around the green, he's lost a stroke on each. Not very good there. So can he get back and maybe make some putts and push his way up the leaderboard, maybe get inside that top 10? I think I've got him still. No, I bet him outright, and then I have him as a top 5 as well. So I need a good weekend from him to be able to cash that one. Schauffele, I have an outright and a top 5 on him as well. He had a par day, only 3 birdies. He's hitting 75% greens in regulation here. He is gaining 3.8 strokes, but kind of in the same light as Auberg. He's lost a stroke around the green. He's been pretty average in terms of his putting. So again, that's another guy I'll consider, especially at 10-2. I think, if he starts making some putts, start to roll, I think we get back on track with 5 to 7 birdies for him and something like a 66 to 68, somewhere in there, 69. I think he's a good candidate to jump up there. So I like those two kind of at the top. I do like Bridgman. More of a GPP play for him at 8,600. I wish he was kind of down in that 7K range. He's going to get into some, in his first Masters, he's going to get into some very tough conditions tomorrow, firm and fast. So we'll see how that goes. Scheffler hasn't really done much this weekend. He's only got 2 birdies in each of those 2. So those, while it did look good at 2 under after round 1, he's 2 over today, put him back to even. The putting's just been terrible. The approach only gaining 0.3 strokes on approach. So I won't be going back to him, especially at that 13-2. The price has come down, but 13-2, you can't really build much of a lineup with Scheffler, and he hasn't really shown that he is going to be there and be able to put in one of those big rounds. Now, Saturday is that day, but I just don't think he's coming back from even par to get that top 5, top 10 this week at a very tough course. Like I said, it's very tough to chase here, even for the number 1 player in the world. Justin Rose at 93 has been solid, 5 birdies in each of the first 2 rounds. His ball striking is right up there. I think he's 3rd overall in ball striking. The approach for him, the irons have been awesome. He's been slightly above average around the green and putting at 93. He's definitely on the radar. McIlroy, I think we're just building around McIlroy. So I'm going to bring up a... Oh, geez, I clicked on the wrong tab. Sorry about that. I will get DraftKings up and we will build a lineup. There's someone that we aren't going to be building a lineup around. He had a terrible day. Same with Bryson. I imagine there's a picture somewhere of Bryson screaming. I didn't have that one loaded up for the show, but you can pretty much imagine on that 18th hole when that, I think it was coming out of the bunker where it rolled off the green and down the hill, and he ended up triple bogey in that final hole and missed the cut. So that was wonderful too, because I had him in my GPP lineups twice. Who's complaining? I guess I'm not winning a GPP this weekend, but I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to have to enjoy the golf for the weekend. So we are going to bring up DraftKings so that we can build a little mock lineup here. Because I think we build around Rory. Let's bring this up here. Rory, and let's jump back across to the sheet. I do. Yeah, it's tough which direction we want to go. I think you could easily go Justin Rose, who's been consistent. 5 birdies in both rounds. Like I said, the putting's been slightly above average. All these other guys, the putters need to turn around, maybe more GPP. I think you could probably jam Schauffele in there, which gives you an average of 7,100 left. But I think I kind of want to go down. I think it makes a lot more sense going to Justin Rose here, 7,300 average. So we're going to look for some value out of these guys. We'll sort this here again by the leaderboard. And so we got Sam Burns at 7,700. His ownership jumped to 15%. It's going to probably be a little bit higher going into round 3 based on how he played. He only had 4 birdies, but he played pretty solid again. He's hitting 83% greens in regulation, tied for the lead there. And he's gaining strokes in every strokes gained category. He is one of only, I want to say 3 or 4 players at the top here, and then down looking at Brooks Koepka also is gained strokes in all strokes gained categories as well. But 7,700 for Burns, really good putter, playing very well, and just looking at his course history, hasn't been great, but I think he's going to definitely best that and at least get where is he right now? 2nd. I think he's at least going to finish inside the top 10. He may be one that can go ahead and contend. Yeah, I talked about Christopher Reeton there, Bob. That's a good pick. Very low owned both of the first 2 days. He's probably going to jump up just after today's round, 6 birdies. The irons aren't there. He's been a red hot putter, so I actually feel like he's maybe a player that's going to regress backwards, to be honest. The 2.75 strokes putting, I just don't think, and I'm actually going to bring up, give me just a second here. These stats are for the full tournament. I just want to bring up round 2, trying to get that loaded up here as fast as possible. and look at just round 2, and we are looking at Wrighton. I don't know how to say it. Yeah, so round 2, he gained 1.27 strokes on approach. The putting for him was 2.32 today. I just don't see him repeating that. 6,400 though. If he gives you 4, maybe 5 birdies, I think that's definitely going to be there. I like how Tong Lee here. He's having a nice week in terms of his approach. Much better, like 2 strokes better than Reeton, and the putting is slightly worse, but still really, really good on the week. So I do like that a little bit more, I think. So that's going to be my next. If I jump back over here and put in Hao Tong Lee, 6,700, that leaves us 7,500 now. Back to the sheet, and we will look at that. Tyrrell Hatton hit all 18 greens today, like I said. I think we could maybe go back to, I don't think he's anywhere near 66 tomorrow. Probably going to be in the, it would be impressive if he could get out a 68 or 69 even. The putting hasn't been, I think he really, really crushed it with the putter today. 1.4 strokes putting, 6.85 total. The tee to green was amazing. 3.7 on approach. Is he going to have those kind of irons again tomorrow? I don't think so. There's probably a little regression there, and I think the ownership's also going to go up from 6%. Probably going to put him in the 10% range in terms of projected ownership for tomorrow. These guys usually get chased off these good rounds. People chasing that. Cam Young, I'm not really worried about the percentage. I liked his upside at the beginning of the tournament. He started to come through a little bit more today. I just want to look at his scorecard for the afternoon. There it is, T7. Yeah, so that was a really good one bogey on 10. Uh, 3-4 birdie streak, 15 is absolutely incredible. So he's playing the course really well. So I do like him coming into tomorrow as well. He's 9,400. I don't think we'll be able to go 3 guys here that high. For me, it's probably going to be Rose or Young with McIlroy, and I may do 2 lineups and just swap those 2 in and out as well. So what we're looking for right now is some guys a little bit lower down to fill out this lineup. Wyndham Clark hasn't been putting great, but the rest of the game has been really good. Down here a little bit more, Chris Goddard up and Koepka in that mid 8K range. Jake Knapp has been playing really well. The approach hasn't been great, but he's been really good off the tee, 320 yards. So he's just been bombing it down there. He's got 10 birdies overall, 7 today. So he put up a really good 69. The putter's been good. He's been above average around the green. If those irons can come around even just a little bit more, and just kind of looking at him today, the irons were, he lost a stroke. So the irons were good. The putter wasn't great in round 1. And today, the putter was good and the irons weren't great. I think if he can bring that together, 7,600 is going to be a steal. So he's going to be in there in my lineup as well. We'll go over there and update that, see where that leaves us. 7,500. So I think we can maybe go balanced. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to go Ben Griffin. He's been riding pretty hot putter here. Everything else has been average or worse. So I think he's maybe a candidate to fall backwards. And in terms of, I always like to look at ball striking versus putting to kind of see maybe who can rebound. So we talked about Auberg. The putting around the green haven't been great, and it's not round 4 yet, so we're safe there with him. Sorry, that one still hurts. That one still hurts a little bit. But then we look at other guys. We got Shoffley was another one. His putter, I think, can turn around. Rose Young, Shane Lowry is gaining 2.97 strokes on approach, which has really boosted those ball striking numbers. His putter's been decent, only 8K, so we can consider him, I think, as well. Wyndham Clark, we talked about 7,000. I think makes a lot of sense. The ownership definitely jumped up in round 2, and I think we're probably going to stay there just for that price, for how good the ball striking and the tee to green play has been, and just hope that he can turn it around with his putter. And round 2, he lost 0.2. So he lost 0.3 in round 1, 0.23 in round 2. So, or sorry, 0.94 in round 1, 0.23 negative in round 2. If he can get a good putting stroke together here and gain some strokes, I think that 7K is robbery for points per dollar value. So that is a player I'm going to put in there. And then that puts us up into that 81 range, who we just talked about. Shane Lowry possibly is a candidate for that final spot. Tyrrell Hatton, 8,100. Let's just sort that and have a look at that price range and see what we got there. Justin Thomas, I'm not touching. We got Shane Lowry in there. Tyrrell Hatton. Already got Burnsy in the line. You know what? We don't have Burnsy in the lineup. So that right there, that 7,700, I think that makes a lot of sense for finishing out this lineup. We'll have one final look at that here. Leaves us 400 on the table. Gets us the leader and 4 other players inside the top 10, and then Knapp, who's outside the top 10. I think that's a solid build, actually, going into tomorrow. And one I'll definitely use. I might change it up a little bit and play around with it, but that might be my one lineup that I'll be putting in. And like I said, I like the idea of a second lineup and taking out Rose. See if we can do that in this lineup even. Yep, because he's only 100 more. So we can get Cam Young or Tommy Fleetwood or Patrick Reed to pair with McIlroy with that lineup of McIlroy, Haotong Li, Jake Knapp, Wyndham Clark, and Sam Burns. So you can definitely play around and get a lot of guys. It's a nice build, even with Rory. You can still have a very nice looking lineup. But the Scheffler thing, I don't think I'm on. UFL game on. The sheet for UFL. Unfortunately not. Some of these fringe, I don't know if you call it fringe sports, but smaller sports. I know LOL was the same thing for us to try and put a sheet together for sports like that when there's limited stats and limited information, limited sites that we can source the data from. It makes it very, very difficult. It's a lot of manual work, and I know me and you, Bob, were talked about the manual work earlier, and for all these other sheets. And for years, I put in a ton of manual work. And then I finally just said I have to learn how to. And ChatGPT and other AI has been incredible help in automating a lot of things, helping me with formulas and that sort of stuff using AppScript on Google Sheets. And so that's been huge in being able to add a lot of the things I've added for NASCAR, PGA, MLB this season. There's been a ton of additions. So yeah, long story short, there won't be a sheet for the UFL, unfortunately. Kind of go. So it is a large pain in the butt to do that. And I start a new job. I believe it's next week. I'm going out and helping the local course with some groundskeeping for this season. So I'm super excited for that. Should be no problem with my sheets now that I've got a whole bunch of stuff automated, but it's going to be some early mornings. I think I go out at 5:36 in the morning, so I'll be up at like 4:30 putting together the sheets for the baseball sheet for the day and stuff like that. I'm excited though. Excited to go back and work on the golf course. It's been a few years. I was on the board for the golf course for a long time, as well as volunteered out there a lot. So, any questions on lineups? Looking at the Masters here, going into the weekend. Like I said, I have that pulled up, and I'm really interested what everyone thinks. Who has the best chance to give Rory a run for his money? And personally, I think it's going to be done pick this week. So, but I think he's got a good shot. He is furthest behind, obviously. But if I had to bet, if we're looking at say a top 5, and that's my favorites. There's the leaderboard. There we go. He's quite a bit back there. But he's someone that I'd like to bet top 5. And if I go over and look at DraftKings Sportsbook, he had a nice number. I'm just trying to find him now. Yeah, plus 310 for a top 5, including ties, plus 101 top 5, plus 310 for a top 5. I think I don't mind that. Him coming back from that far. Let's go over back to the sheet. So right now he is only 3 strokes out of that top 5 position. So very solid across the board. Like I said, his around the green and putting I think needs to improve, and I think it will. I think he's going to have a bounce back round, which is going to put him at least, I think, going into the weekend into the top 10. And I think he can work his way up into that top 5 position. So I like that plus 310 on him. I was going to get this loaded up so it would just be an easy view beside here because we've got the live odds, but that's outrights. So I'm just trying to look at both screens here at the same time and look at some other odds that stick out of guys that I think can maybe jump up into the top 5 who are kind of in this fringe area inside the top 20, but outside the top 10. Like Brooks plus 280. I like Shoffley a little bit better there. We've got Hatton is actually at plus 315, and he is 2 strokes better than Shoffley. So, I mean, he's right outside, 1 stroke outside the top 5 as it stands right now. And he's right up there, 4.2 strokes tee to green, right behind Rory. So I don't mind that one at plus 315. So Hatton and Shoffley so far is what we got nailed down for these top 5s. All right, there's a vote on Tommy Fleetwood to give him a run for his money. Yeah, his putting has been awesome. The approach is still above average. I think it's probably top 20 in the field at .98. Dead on 20. Good guess. So yeah, I'm not going to argue with you when it comes to Tommy on there. And then some other guys that I like for top 5. Jason Day is someone. The irons and the ball striking just haven't been there, but his around the green and putting has just been spot on around here this week. His number is plus 290. So yeah, no, I'm kind of looking for guys in that plus 300 range. Scheffler plus 300. I would rather have Shoffley plus 310. I think he's just been playing better. Scheffler's been very up and down. I don't think he's going to get there. It feels weird to say that for how many times he's come back and surprised everyone so far this year. I know there was a point where we were hoping that on Thursday he would fall back so that we could bet him top 5, top 10 live betting like this. Goddard up is in there at a plus 395. Now we're getting the 2 strokes. We're the same as Shoffley, but we're getting a better number, plus 395. And then Wyndham Clark is plus 470. He's sitting at T7 right now, and he's a plus 470 to have a top 5. So if you think he's going to continue on, and like I said, if that putter picks up, I think he probably, can pick up 3 or 4 strokes on that top 5 and kind of get in that comfortable area going into Sunday. So I really don't mind that number at plus 470. If you believe in Decky down here, if we're believing in Shoffley, do we believe in Decky? I don't personally. The ball striking just hasn't been there for Decky. The putting's been good, and that's been about it. Everything else is slightly above average. So I am. Good evening. Thanks for joining the live show. Appreciate it. Make sure to go vote on the poll there that I have up to see who's going to give him a shot. We're just talking about top 5s. It's tough to bet an outright at this point in the live because it's minus 250 for McIlroy to win, and I just don't think anyone's going to beat him. So I'm looking at top 5s, top 10s from guys that are sitting outside. The one I was just talking about who really kind of stands out to me at looking at this is, like I said, Wyndham Clark is very interesting. He has the best odds value of the guys that we just talked about, like Koepka, Goddard, Shoffley, Matsuyama. We talked about Cam Young and Hatton. They're all in the plus 275 to plus 350 range. Wyndham is plus 470. Decky's plus 455. I don't think I'm going to go there. I like Shoffley better. He's just been playing a lot better. Ben Griffin's a plus 580. He's sitting there. The model doesn't really like him. 45th in the model. Hasn't put a lot of birdies down this week. The off the tee, the ball striking hasn't been there at all. It's been the putting and around the green. So not really interested in that number. And getting a little bit lower here. Jake Knapp maybe for a top 10. He's plus 730 for a top 5, but plus 235 for a top 10. I like that number. I think the poll's up there on the thing. I don't know. Today's the first day that StreamYard opened these polls, so I just thought I'd throw one out there just for shits and giggles and see if we can go. So if you can't find it, you're voting Fleetwood. All we need, Bob. Yeah. So Jake Knapp's another one of my favorite picks here. Betting live top 10. That was plus 235 for him. If you think he's going to come back even further, like right now he's minus 2, same as Shoffley. So the top 5 is there too, and that's a plus 730. I don't think he's going to top 5. I do like the top 10 at plus 235. Auberg is another one for a top 10. He's at plus 250. And let's find out there. He's at even par. So get in that top 10. We're probably looking at he's going to need a minus 2, minus 3 tomorrow. something like that to kind of get in that range right about here. Probably going to need a 3 or 4 actually. Probably needs 5 to 6 under to get inside that top 10 going into like Sunday over the next 2 days. So I don't mind that actually. Plus 250 for him. Who else do we got down here that's performing well? That's kind of about it for those bets. So again, the ones that I like the most are Auburn top 10. We got Jake Knapp top 10. Um, Wyndham Clark top 5 at plus 470. I like that number. Xander plus 310. And then I think it was Tyrrell Hatton was the other one I was going to go with. A top 5 for him is a plus 315. Jason Day, no, it was, yeah, I think I'm just going to sit there with those ones. So, that's the way I feel about those bets going forward into the next 2 rounds. I built that lineup for Showdown. I'll go over that one more time here before we take off. And I've got to go update the player pool for round 3 as well. And then I will post my final core in chat as well going into the round 3, as well as those bets that we just discussed. So yeah, I'm building around Rory. He even was quoted, he was asked something about what he learned about protecting the lead, what he has learned over the years about protecting the lead. He says, don't protect it. Go out there and keep playing, keep trying to make birdies. That makes me feel confident that he's not worried about, playing it safe out there. He's probably going to try and go and shoot minus 20 in the next 2 days, which isn't so much out of hand at all. And then I like Jake Knapp. We talked about him in the betting, talked about Wyndham Clark and Sam Burns at 7,700. That just makes a lot of sense. Very good players here who have been playing good and are sitting up there in the leaderboard, who are now playing chase. So this is a little bit risky because these guys are going to be chasing, looking for a big Saturday to at least close that gap from 6 to say 3 going into Sunday. So we're gonna like the birdies out of them. I like Hao Tong Lee as a 6K guy, and then that final spot at 9,700. I talked about a few guys that I like. I may make a few different iterations of this lineup for GPP, but we've got Fleetwood, Cam Young, Justin Rose, Patrick Reed. Those would be the 4 players right there that I like the most to pair with Rory, and I think we can definitely do that. Even if you throw Fleetwood in there, I think you can probably even go swap out a few of these other guys. So I'll have the full over on the playbook here. I will have the round 3 player pool posted shortly, so you can check that out over on the cheat sheet for the week. And if you are not a member and you'd like to get the cheat sheet for the weekend, head over to patreon.com/Jagerbombs, and you can grab a copy of the cheat sheet and get into our Discord as well. And that is a monthly membership. You can buy just the sheet. Yeah, I think it's $3. You can get in there and grab it, or you can do $15 a month, and that will get you obviously the next 4 tournaments coming up here shortly. Next week, we've got a big one with the signature event with the RBC Heritage. So yeah, we're back on regular events, but another big one. So $15 a month, patreon.com/Jagerbombs. Thanks everyone for joining the live show. I hope Dane's okay. I know he was on his phone. He was traveling to try and get home, get the kids in bed and stuff like that. So I'm happy to jump in and do that. And I'm happy that we were able to do these live shows every round so far. And we're definitely going to be planning on doing this again tomorrow night, going into the final round and talking some more Masters. We might go a little bit later just so that we can make sure that Dane gets in here in the chat and shares some of his knowledge and updated matchups and stuff like that. So also make sure to check out this matchups view. I think he's updating this going into tomorrow's round and then round 4 as well, looking at the betting the matchups. So make sure to check that out as well, and check out all the live stats and the models. And if you want to make your own model, if you don't really like the way I've got the weights set up here for live, come down here. I know a lot of people will go and put heavy on birdie or better. Obviously, that's what's going to get you the scoring in Showdown until round 4 when I crank up the odds value in the model, just because of you get points for your finishing position in the final round. All right. So that pretty much covers it. And if you want to make your own, sorry, I was sidetracked here. Squirrel. Yeah, you go over to File, make a copy, and then once you go ahead and make that new copy, you will be able to go and change all these weights to whatever you'd like and make your own models. Like I showed in the preview show, or was it the live show? I forget, but me and Dane discussed it where, especially this week with live golfers in there and some different stats and stuff, we ran multiple models to just to kind of see and compare. In most weeks, I'm just running one, maybe two models. This week, I had like five or six, just different metrics and kind of seeing out of those, say, five models, who's showing up at the top five, top 10 in each of those models when I start switching things around. So that's one thing that I do with the cheat sheet. So I'll make separate tabs and then just run different models and then take and filter those into another tab and just pick out the players that stand out in those models. And that's usually where I start with my core building, the top plays and the player pools that I have on the sheet. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I appreciate it. And we will talk to you tomorrow night.